my new way of starting. I might as well exaggerate the reality of things. There. Yeah. Okay. So here we are again, our matcha morning. I finished mine a little too soon. We were on the phone with our satellite company, which is the only service we can really get out here. And it's below acceptable, but it's the only option. So what can you do? So I drank my matcha during that. Um, so what do we talk about
Well,
today?
we're
We had
coming into a
general
very,
topics.
we're coming into a really interesting week where we're going to come into a deeper or not relationship with our values. We're going to find out very clearly what is important to us, what really means something to us in a very positive way, and what no longer serves us. And this is the perfect time for letting go of things that no longer serve us. And that includes not focusing on what we dislike. That's the tendency, right? We tend to go, oh, I don't like this, I don't like that. But really, the energy this week is calling for us to focus on what we do like, what we love, what we vibrate with, what we resonate with, what we align with, all of these energies.
So what's the basic approach or rule
Well,
of thumb
if you
behind
find, if you find yourself, let's say you're on social media, for an example, it could be a million different ways that this expresses, but if you're tending to go towards, the negative, we all know what an asshole Bill Gates is. Do we really need to go on and on about what an asshole he is? Yeah, he's an asshole. He wants to rule the sun because he's so full of his God complex. So, and he's one of many. It's just right now he's Mr. Bad Guy right now, but there are lots around him as well and behind him, including his investors. So, do we need to put our energy, our attention, which is
on what
energy, our emotions, which are also energy, on stuff that we don't like, that does not serve us? Or do we shift the gears, shift the channel, and go into putting our attention, our focus, our energy on what we do want to create in our world, in our lives? Because we are co-creating here. Whether we like it or not, we're collectively co-creating. So we have our own world that we create for ourselves, and then we have kind of the larger one that we're connected to. And so, a lot of people are being very proactive and getting together with what they call their tribe or their team or whatever words or names you want to assign it. But I think that's really, it's either coming together of people very physically or at the very least for the moment virtually. And making plans, making concrete plans for the future, the kind of future we wish to create, we
Would like to see,
desire.
yeah.
We want to see, we know we can if we apply ourselves. So that's the advisory for, especially for this week, because we've got lots of, we have Pluto that is now slowing down to a stop and will be stationing retrograde as of Friday. And there's all kinds of associations with the number 25 because Friday's the 25th. All kinds of stuff. And there, I would highly recommend checking out Tanya Gabrielle's YouTube channel. She's awesome. She really gets into the numerology, and if you really like that kind of stuff, and the astrology, it's pretty amazing. So we are in this really amazing pregnant period right now where we can birth something amazing. But if we're gonna focus on all the toxic shit, then well,
we may be birthing that.
yeah, we're gonna have that kind of mixed in, and do we really want that? I don't think so. I mean, I certainly don't.
It's that devil you know theory that it's better to have the devil you know around than
Because it's
don't.
what you
Well,
know.
It's
Yeah.
I think we all know that's not.
Yeah. Or that you need to know more than the next person because it fills some kind of insecure void. Those are traps. Don't even bother. Don't even bother. Avoid that, and
Well,
rechannel to something that you do want.
we know from direct experience, and I'm just sharing this because I'm pretty sure you'd all notice some of these for yourself, and they're just good examples. On a smaller scale, this theory, we'll call it, I see it in action playing out from moment to moment. Raven and I might get on a train of thought of some positive potential, and we kind of go with it in a little half-hour chat. And it could be the possibility of, excuse me, possibility of building an off-grid home instead of buying an already made one. Was one topic that came up, and we weren't even aware that we had gone off on a tangent about the possibilities until we were about 20 minutes in, and we were feeling really excited, really positive, really empowered.
Yep.
Before we hit the point where we had a thought of, oh, is this even possible? How much does it cost? This kind of all those questions, which you need to have that to balance things out. I'm not saying that go off into dream world and never ground yourself, but it's important to be aware that you're not focusing on the negative side, that you take those things into consideration to balance out your equation, but you focus on the positive. And we've noticed it, as I was saying, as an example, many things, but the one was thinking about a house when we sell. And we always have wanted the idea of an off-grid home that we designed ourselves, but never ever considered it because of the headache that would come along with it and the cost that you never know and so on.
And it was the familiar, right?
It was very familiar.
The familiar of getting a mortgage, what we've always done. We've always done
always
this
worked.
in the past. It's always worked somewhat in the past, but it just got us further and further into debt. And it really, so therefore, was it really working?
Mm-hmm.
And now's an opportunity to do something completely different. And it actually feels good.
And that's maybe one of the greatest things about this time for everyone, is this shift in the unintentional aspect of any intention that might be present or not, but the unintentional as far as human manipulation goes. You could call it the divine wisdom or the divine spark or the category of the divine. The universe, the source. If anyone believes in such a thing, or the possibility of such a thing, it's that which we can massage, identify within ourselves and outside, and then massage in that direction. Hence, what we're suggesting. It's a subtle massage of recognizing there's two polarities, almost two directions for simple math, two directions to go. One of them focusing on the negative and the fear, and how that locks you tighter and tighter into a ball, and not to mention the health aspect of it. That it's going to take away a lot of your health
And your freedom.
and one and the same in a lot of ways, that respect, because if you don't have your health, it doesn't matter what you have. So if we focus, hypothetically speaking, if we focus on the positive, and also keep away from that voice within us. I have it where when I'm focusing on the positive, a little voice comes in and it's telling me that I'm just a stupid, flaky dreamer, and I get back to reality. Well, there is a difference between lost in the ethers and positive, conscious, constructive, energetic entertainment of thoughts, and how you organize those thoughts and where you work towards, that conscious awareness. And I think it needs to have heart and gut, brains active and open. So whatever you want to do to exercise that aspect, if you need it, meditation, lovely forest walks, going in the sun, the things that
So many.
add to that feeling. If for you hearing a baby laughing, maybe putting on a movie that's your favorite movie you've watched 3,000 times that always makes you happy, whatever it is, find those ways, singing to yourself, humming to yourself, whatever it is that brings you into a good headspace, to kickstart you, and then entertain. Go maybe have a journal.
Yeah,
Would be a good way
all
to,
those are great
to write those
tools.
things down.
Ultimately, what we're being invited to do, especially this week, is come into a deeper relationship with our own souls, our own spirituality, however that manifests for each person. And there's no, one way better than the other way. It's what works best for you, what brings you into a deeper relationship with Source, whether you call it Source or universe or God or whatever, it doesn't really matter. Those are fucking categories that people, it's like we're playing a stupid board game or something, and it's like it's so much more than that. But you have this incredible opportunity this week, especially where it's being supported on deep levels. So don't lose that opportunity. Do that. Come into relationship with your spirit, with your spiritual life, in whatever way that manifests for you. Focus on the positive. Focus on, where is my attention? My attention is like, imagine it's like a fuel that you're feeding something. Whatever your attention is focused on, you're actually giving it fuel. So what are you going to fuel? Think about it. It's going to be the same old, or is it going to be something completely different, and something that uplifts your heart, something that makes you feel grounded and solid, and an energy that you know that you can move forward in this life.
And rather than just give you the tool of the fuel and the flame, we'll also give you a set of bellows so that you can carefully work with that flame and just add the right oxygen flow to it. And it's kind of interesting that most bellows are kind of in the shape of a heart.
Yeah.
So metaphorically, the bellows as a tool in this process is kind of.
And oxygen is
heart-like.
important, and it's interesting that they're wanting us to wear masks, which inhibit your oxygen and actually can reactivate old vaccines that you might have gotten in the 2017,
I'm just thinking reactivating old vaccines, but reactivating old patterns and programs. Like, what does it make you feel like when you stick something over your face?
Yeah.
I mean, we have memories from childhood of having a scarf over our face if it's cold, a mask if we're working with dust or fumes, but otherwise we don't really have anything I'm aware of. But by walking around, everyone wearing a mask, what unconsciously is that saying to ourselves that we're not aware of? It's quite possible.
It actually has physiological effects as well, that will manifest over time.
We're definitely endorsing the energetic vibration of that we are feeble, that we are weak,
that we deserve to be isolated because we can't take a stand for anything. We certainly, and God bless American patriots. I follow the United States and what's going on in the United States quite closely. And people are rising up for whatever. Some people go, oh no, the fearful ones, right? They're going to be sucking the upholstery up their buttholes because they're so afraid. But people are standing up for their rights, for their constitution, for their freedom, which is being eroded as we speak. In Canada, well, we're a whole other bag of worms. But
a friend even sent us a Bill Maher excerpt, and partly because we don't watch Bill Maher. I stopped watching him a long time ago when I just got really tired of his phobias and projections. But the surprising, and his predictability.
And his red shoes.
But the surprising thing was I decided I would play it, because otherwise I'm just playing into the same old thing of, I'm not going to watch this because it's from this side or that view, and I've already figured out what they are. So I said, okay, someone sent it to me for a reason, so I'll listen to it. And he was on a completely different channel. I don't know if someone paid him off or he's just backpedaling out of something.
Made some kind of a deal.
I don't know. But he is now saying exactly the message that we've been hearing all along for the last 4 years, from listening to a large amount of more right-wing opinions and approaches, shows and things. That's been their constant take on things, is, you know, a little more cautious perspective on things, and bringing up possibilities and tying, making connections between things, which I thought I would find that, and it was what had attracted me from a way back as an artist to what I thought was a more left approach, you know, and now I find that I'm in the middle of mostly people that identify as left, but they're the ones that I thought would have been what the right would be doing, but it's the other way around. I thought that the right would be the more conservative, whereas I'm finding a lot of the right YouTube programs that we've checked out, I guess they're left. They're left of the right?
That
So
just
they're,
boggles my
you know?
brain. I just go the fearful and the less
Yeah.
fearful or not
But,
fearful.
but
and
basically,
really,
the fearful, generally speaking, are the left,
yeah,
and the non-fearful,
or less
generally
fearful.
speaking, or less fearful, are the right. And that it's completely like you've just noticed that it's a mirror image you've been watching, maybe from your camera or something, because the words are backwards on your shirt. That's the experience that I and Raven have had as we've opened our minds up more and more to listening to every perspective, every side on purpose, and trying not to be judgmental. And I'll tell you, it was difficult for me at the beginning listening to some more right-wing channels and their perspectives. It took a while. Like I had to wipe a smirk off my face, sort of thing, and get rid of the attitude. Like I had a real chip on my shoulder about
Attitude
things.
adjustment.
And it took conscious effort. And of course, I discerned over time between what I would consider a right-wing attitude or approach and another one that was just so far-fetched that I just couldn't and didn't have any interest in. So I worked through different opinions and channels and approaches until I found the shows that I could, you know, dip my feet in, you know, the shallow end. It wasn't too cold, sort of thing.
Ultimately, you need both wings to fly.
That's what's given us the perspective
You know.
we have, is by listening to both sides. We don't see one way it's portrayed or another. We see what's in between the two flailings. You know, there's
And it's
ripples.
hard to discern too, because so much information is misinformation, disinformation.
Yeah.
And we know
And
we've all
because of
come
that-
across
But because
it.
of that, if you notice the ripples coming from each projection,
Mm-hmm.
when the ripples hit each other, they create other ripple patterns, and it's those patterns that we pay attention to, not the patterns so much coming from each side, although we do. It's all in context. It's sacred geometry. If you look at sacred geometry, it's patterns echoing through each other and how they influence each other in that geometry. No one seems to be doing that or paying attention to that aspect. They're so myopically focused on their one cause, or their one specialty, or their one dissection of the universe, and they're the expert over that little area, which is a hypothetical, non-real, as far as reality goes. It doesn't exist. It's just a concept.
The thing is, the
You're fighting
media,
for.
mainstream media has really set themselves up as an enemy of the people. They really are, because they're not honest, and they are distorting things
Yeah.
intentionally. And, you know, it doesn't take much to do a search and look up CIA infiltration of mainstream media. It goes way back. This is not a new phenomenon.
And it's all documented,
Yeah.
all proven.
It's
There's
all-
no conspiracy theory here.
Yeah, they're there. They're definitely, it's infiltration is the name of their game. And that's what we're recognizing now. So anyway, I don't want to say any more on that subject. I'd like to focus on, again, refocus on what is it that you want to create in your life? What makes you happy? What uplifts your heart? What keeps you at the same time grounded so you can motivate one foot in front of the other?
Because now is the time. Every time is the time, but right now is the most powerful time that you may have in your lifetime for making this shift. The energies on every level lend towards this, even by the fact that, you know, the obvious of what we've all been through. It's a time for making a re-evaluation and move forward based on that.
Right? And like Tanya Gabrielle says, it's the year 2020 vision. Clarity, seeing clearly, seeing everything in balance.
But I mean, think about it, folks. You all have many more options than you think you have at any moment. And this is a time to exercise just on the conceptual, hypothetical level. You know, how can I broaden my horizon? How can I broaden this beam of light that I'm shining into the darkness of the unknown and uncertainty, and how much light can I shed on that? And if each one of us does that, reevaluates everything, and takes, you know, modest, conservative moves forward, and I'm not saying some crazy leap into the deep end, although some people, that's what they feel like doing, and that's an empowerment. But generally speaking, it's just a reevaluation is what we're inviting people to do, and just see where that lights up ahead of you on your path. You might get some really interesting ideas that you never thought you'd be thinking. Don't just throw them out with the bathwater yet. Just put them on the side and you know, like tomatoes in the window, you know, let them ripen. There's no harm in that, and you may find that you're being led in a different direction.
Yeah, and recognize what no longer serves you and let it go. Let it go. Just like it's okay that you have, it's okay. It doesn't, there's nothing, you know, everything happens in its own place and own time.
There is no mistake.
No, it's just getting you to where you are now. And then you can sit and look at whatever comes up and say in the shadows, because we all have our shadows, and say, does this serve me anymore? Is this from the old top-down system that is now crumbling? Thank God, before us. And is this something I want to carry forward into my life, or let it go? And it's as simple as making that decision. Let it go. Give it up to Source, however you identify with Source.
The Earth, God,
whatever. Mother Earth, whatever. It doesn't matter. It really, whatever works for you that does not require you harming another being. You know, and then just go from there.
Yeah, and maybe it's possible that each one of us, that which we're entertaining is exactly that message that's purposely coming to all of us, that if we all went with that feeling, that the world literally would change enough that it's in a movement towards something else more positive. And that's all it takes, is that subtle shift to happen. And what a perfect time than now.
We're on the cusp of a new golden age, folks.
You know,
let's choose wisely and choose well. Anyhow, have a blessed day.
Yes, it's sunny where we are, so I hope that it's sunny where you are.
Yeah.
And then over and out.